Hey there, amazing viewers. I'm so excited to connect with you today because I've got some absolutely crucial information that could make a real difference in your financial future. Before we dive deep into today's topic about the new federal stimulus payments for 2025, I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you who've been supporting this channel. Your comments and questions have helped shape our content, making sure we're delivering exactly what you need to know about financial relief programs and government assistance. Now, let's talk about what's probably been keeping many of you up at night, those rumors about new stimulus checks. You've probably seen the headlines, maybe received some confusing emails, or heard whispers from friends and family about another round of government payments. Well, today, we're going to cut through all the noise and give you the complete, honest truth about the latest $1,400 stimulus checks that are rolling out in 2025, specifically focusing on what this means for Social Security, CSI, and SSDI recipients. I've spent countless hours researching this topic, speaking with financial experts, and even connecting with IRS representatives to bring you the most accurate and up-to-date information possible. What makes this particular round of stimulus payments different and honestly quite exciting is how it specifically targets those who might have missed out on previous payments or who are currently facing the greatest financial challenges in our economy. Let's start with some context that will help you understand why these payments are happening now. Back in 2023, Congress passed the Economic Adjustment and Recovery Act, which laid the groundwork for these 2025 payments. The act was designed to address the ongoing economic impacts of inflation and rising living costs, particularly on fixed-income individuals. What many people don't realize is that this legislation was actually inspired by data showing that nearly 35% of Social Security recipients were struggling to maintain their standard of living despite the cost of living adjustments, COLA, implemented in previous years. The timing of these payments is particularly significant. The IRS began processing the first wave of payments on December 15, 2024, with subsequent waves scheduled throughout January, February, and March 2025. But here's something crucial that many other sources aren't telling you: there's actually a second phase of payments planned for July 2025, specifically targeting individuals who receive SSI and SSDI benefits. This two-phase approach is designed to ensure that the distribution system isn't overwhelmed and that everyone receives their payments smoothly. Now, let's talk about eligibility, because this is where things get really interesting. The basic qualifying criteria include being a current recipient of Social Security, SSI, or SSDI benefits as of January 1, 2025. However, there are some important nuances that you absolutely need to understand. For instance, if you started receiving benefits after October 2024, you'll need to take additional steps to verify your eligibility. The income thresholds for these payments are also different from previous stimulus programs. Individual recipients can have an adjusted gross income of up to $87,000, up from the previous $75,000 limit, while married couples filing jointly can earn up to $174,000, increased from $150,000. Something that's causing a lot of confusion and that I really want to clarify is how these payments interact with other government benefits. Unlike some previous stimulus payments, these new checks will not count as income for determining eligibility for other federal or state assistance programs. This means you won't have to worry about losing your Medicaid, SNAP benefits, or housing assistance because of receiving this payment. This was a major concern during previous stimulus rounds, so I'm particularly relieved to share this information with you. Let's talk about the actual payment process, because this is where many people encountered problems with previous stimulus rounds. The IRS has implemented a new automated verification system that cross-references Social Security Administration records with tax returns from 2022, 2023, and 2024. This system is designed to identify eligible recipients automatically. But here's something critical you need to know. If you've moved or changed banks since filing your last tax return, you need to update your information through the IRS portal by February 15, 2025 to ensure your payment isn't delayed. The distribution schedule is more complex than previous rounds, with payments being sent out based on the last 2 digits of your Social Security number. Recipients with numbers ending in 020 will receive payments between January 2/15, 2025. Those ending in 2140 will receive payments between January 16/31, 4160 will be paid between February 1/15, 6180 between February 16/28, and 8199 between March 1/15. However, direct deposit recipients will generally receive their payments about 2 weeks earlier than those waiting for paper checks. Here's something that's particularly important for our viewers who receive SSI or SSDI benefits. The Social Security Administration has established a dedicated helpline specifically for questions about these stimulus payments. The line operates Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. local time, and while wait times can be long, representatives can provide detailed information about your specific situation. I'll share that number later in the video, so make sure to stay tuned. One aspect that's causing significant confusion is the relationship between these payments and the regular cost of living adjustment, COLA, for 2025. Let me be absolutely clear. This $1,400 payment is completely separate from, and in addition to, the 3.2% COLA increase that Social Security recipients will see in their regular benefits. Some people have mistakenly believed they need to choose between the two. You don't. You're eligible for both if you meet the criteria. Now, let's address something that's been causing a lot of anxiety: scams. Unfortunately, wherever there's government money being distributed, scammers aren't far behind. Since the announcement of these payments, there's been a surge in stimulus-related scams. The most common one we're seeing involves calls or emails claiming to be from the IRS, asking for personal information or a fee to expedite your payment. Remember this: the IRS will never call, email, or text you asking for personal information or money related to stimulus payments. If someone contacts you claiming to be from the IRS, it's almost certainly a scam. Here's another important detail that many people aren't aware of. If you're currently receiving Social Security benefits, but didn't file taxes in 2022, 2023, or 2024 because your income was below the filing threshold, you don't need to take any special actions. The IRS will use the information they have on file from the Social Security Administration to process your payment. However, if you have dependent children under 17, you might need to take additional steps to receive the extra $500 per child that's included in this stimulus package. Let's talk about some specific scenarios that might apply to you or someone you know. If you began receiving Social Security benefits in 2024, your payment might be processed differently. The IRS has established a special processing unit for new beneficiaries, and your payment might come slightly later than others. Similarly, if you're a representative payee for someone who receives Social Security benefits, there are specific guidelines you need to follow. The payment will generally be deposited into the same account where the regular benefits are received, but you'll need to ensure it's used for the beneficiary's needs. Something that's particularly relevant for our viewers who receive SSDI benefits. If you're currently participating in the Ticket to Work program or are engaging in substantial gainful activity, SGA, you're still eligible for this stimulus payment. This is different from some other relief programs that have restrictions based on work activity. However, if you've returned to work and are no longer receiving SSDI benefits as of January 1, 2025, different rules might apply to your situation. For those who receive SSI benefits, there's an important detail about asset limits. Normally, SSI has strict limits on how much money you can have in savings: $2,000 for individuals and $3,000 for couples. However, these stimulus payments won't count toward those limits for 12 months after you receive them. This gives you a full year to use the money without worrying about losing your SSI eligibility. The payment method you'll receive depends on how you currently get your Social Security benefits. If you receive your monthly benefits through direct deposit, that's how you'll get your stimulus payment. If you get paper checks, you'll receive your stimulus the same way. However, if you've switched to Direct Express since the last stimulus payment, you'll need to make sure the Social Security Administration has your current Direct Express card information. Here's something interesting about the timing. If you receive both Social Security retirement benefits and SSI, you might actually receive two separate payments. Don't worry, this isn't a mistake, and you won't have to return either payment. The IRS and Social Security Administration are aware of this situation and have systems in place to ensure everything is processed correctly. Let's address some concerns about taxation, because this is causing quite a bit of confusion. Like previous stimulus payments, these $1,400 checks are not considered taxable income. You won't need to report them on your 2025 tax return. However, if you receive the additional $500 payment for dependent children, there are some specific tax implications you should be aware of. These payments might affect certain tax credits you're eligible for, so it's worth consulting with a tax professional if this applies to your situation. For those who are wondering about the future beyond these payments, there's some interesting information to share. The Economic Adjustment and Recovery Act actually includes provisions for possible additional payments in 2026, depending on certain economic indicators. While it's too early to say for certain whether these will materialize, it's worth keeping an eye on the unemployment rate and inflation figures throughout 2025, as these will be key factors in determining whether additional support will be provided. Something that's particularly relevant for viewers who live in certain states. Some state governments are implementing supplemental programs to complement these federal payments. For example, California, New York, and Florida have announced their own supplemental payment programs for residents who receive Social Security benefits. These state-level programs vary significantly in terms of payment amounts and eligibility requirements, so it's worth checking what's available in your state. Now, let's talk about some practical steps you can take to prepare for and make the most of your stimulus payment. First, consider setting up alerts with your bank so you know exactly when the payment arrives. Many banks offer this service free of charge, and it can help you avoid any confusion or delays in accessing your funds. Second, if you're planning to use Direct Express, make sure your card is active and hasn't expired. If you need a replacement card, it's better to request one now rather than waiting until the payments start going out. For our viewers who live in nursing homes or assisted living facilities, there's some crucial information you need to know. These facilities cannot legally claim your stimulus payment as resources or require you to sign it over to them. This protection is explicitly written into the legislation, and any facility that attempts to take your payment is violating federal law. If you encounter this situation, there are resources available to help you protect your rights. Let's also address a concern that many viewers have raised about how these payments might affect other benefits they receive, such as Section 8 housing assistance or veterans benefits. The good news is that these stimulus payments are specifically designated as disaster assistance, which means they won't affect your eligibility for any other federal benefits programs. This designation also means the payments are protected from being counted as income or resources for a full 12 months after receipt. Here's something particularly relevant for our viewers who receive Medicare. These stimulus payments won't affect your Medicare premiums or coverage in any way. This includes Medicare Part B premiums and any income-related monthly adjustment amounts, IRMAA, you might be paying. The payments also won't affect your Medicare Savings Program eligibility if you're enrolled in one of these programs. As we wrap up this comprehensive overview, I want to emphasize a few key points that could make a real difference in ensuring you receive your payment promptly and without issues. First, make sure all your contact information is up to date with both the Social Security Administration and the IRS. Second, be vigilant about scams. Remember, no legitimate government agency will ever ask you to pay a fee to receive your stimulus payment. Finally, keep an eye on your bank account or mail around the time you expect to receive your payment based on the distribution schedule I mentioned earlier. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with anyone you know who might benefit from this information. Drop your questions in the comments below. I read every single one and try to address the most common concerns in future videos. Let's support each other and ensure everyone gets the assistance they're entitled to receive. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in our next video where we'll be discussing more ways to maximize your government benefits and secure your financial future. Stay safe, stay informed, and don't forget to take care of yourself and your loved ones. Until next time.